everyone. Welcome back to our continuing education podcast. Today is super exciting. We have another special guest joining us. Today's episode is about how important is physical attraction. And so we're going to try our best to answer that question and then talk about how physical attraction changes during the course of a relationship. And so Sonia and I were really excited to introduce Sarah, our friend Sarah. Sarah, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself? How do you know us? And why are you on this podcast?
Okay, so hi, I'm Sarah. I know Ethan and Sonia through and so that's how we met each other, and we started having this conversation and they asked me to be on the podcast. My stage in life, I'm right now in a long-term relationship. I haven't really done that much dating because a lot of my past relationships were through friends. So I have quite a different experience from Ethan and Sonia. So I'll see how this goes. But thank you for having me on the podcast.
No problem. And that's exactly why we brought you on, because you have, well, first of all, you're in a relationship, and then also you just have a lot of different perspectives than we do. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so we needed another expert for this episode. Mm-hmm. And actually, you and Sonia go even a little further back. You guys were classmates, and that's how you first met, right?
Ethan's keeping tabs on everyone.
Well, I have picked, or I have helped pick all of our guests. So mm-hmm. They're all people that I know. I have to vet them a little bit. Okay, so is there anything that you guys want to talk about before we get started?
Why are you looking at me?
You know why I'm looking at you, Sonia.
Okay, I had just one thing. I feel like I mostly worked through it on the weekend, so I think you should be proud of me for not for not coming here with like a bunch of like baggage and like things I need your help sorting through.
Okay.
But basically, somebody that was in my life recently resurfaced. I'm not going to name names or like who it is right now because it's still like a very sensitive situation. It's still like ongoing. So that makes it kind of harder to talk about. But all I'll say is like when this person reached out to me, it like threw me for a loop. I was so confused with what was going on. And like I'd sort of made my peace with them not being in my life anymore. So when he tried to re-enter my life, like my immediate reaction was like, absolutely not. Like there is a reason that like we stopped hanging out, like get out of my life. Mm. But then just because he kind of broached the subject and like brought it up again, then I kind of like found myself like waiting to like hear back from him, or like waiting to like for something to come of it. Mm-hmm. You know, like you went through the trouble of disturbing my peace and like coming to me and telling me like, hey, blah blah blah, we should hang out. And then, like, kind of nothing comes of it. Mm-hmm. So I was, like, really starting to get stuck in that loop. And I was like, wait, I didn't want to even hang out with him to begin with. But then I feel like I mostly worked through it. And, like, I think it's, like, over. Like, I'm back at, like, my peaceful place again. Doesn't matter if, like, nothing comes of it again.
So when he reached out to you and asked to hang out and, like, was trying to like talk, what did you say to him?
Well, my immediate, like, I was very polite. I said no, obviously, because like also I'm not going to be at somebody else's beck and call. Like, I'm sorry, I'm an individual, I have my own life. Like, just because you say jump doesn't mean I'm going to do it, you know? So I just told him like, no, probably not, da 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 da. But like I think I said it more like, no, not right now. And so he responded by being like, oh, okay, like maybe in like the next few days. And then I just like found myself like, I don't like to wait for people to like text me. I hate doing that. I haven't done it since I was in like high school, I think. But then I found myself like not waiting, but like doing activities that I could like stop doing if in case I got a text, which is really bad. And then I think it was like Friday night. I was just like, you know what? Like, I don't care if you text me.
Can you tell us who, and then we'll just like edit it out? This is like really like.
Hey, you already know it's.
No.
Sarah knows too.
No way.
Okay, so how did you work through it? Like, how does it not affect you?
How does it not affect me? So I think timing is like really important. So like when it was like, when he first brought it up, it was like good timing to hang out. Just because like, sorry, not good timing to hang out, but it was more so like I wasn't doing anything like super, that was going to keep me super busy. So like I had time. But then like a little bit later, I started to just get more busy with like other stuff. And I was like, well, I can't keep waiting for you. Like, but yeah, that's my tea. It's all resolved. I kept myself busy and kept myself away from something that I know is bad for me.
Okay, so moving forward, you're just not gonna hang out with him.
I think I was doing a good job at not entertaining it, but like this kind of came as like to test me. And it was a really good time to test me because, you know, like I was more free in my life in general, like in terms of the people around me. But I feel like if nothing happened now, it won't happen.
Guys, show your support for Sonia by smashing the like button down below. 3,000 likes and Sonia will block this person forever. Okay, well, thanks for sharing that, Sonia. And has everything been going well with you, Sarah?
Yeah, I don't have any tea.
Okay.
I feel like I've reached that stage in life of like a long-term relationship where life is just peaceful and it's boring.
Can you tell us what that's like? Because Sonia and I, we don't. Well, I will speak for myself. I don't know what that's like.
I mean, it's like, I call it the old married couple stage. It's just, we know each other. There's not like too much new to learn from each other. So there's no surprises anymore. And even if something new comes up, like you're already together at that point, so you're learning about it together. So it's not something you have to like work out, it's just something you're living through. So there's not much going on, there's not drama. It's like all we do now is focus on living and on each other. So there's no drama.
Very nice.
Does that mean that like if something comes up that like bothers you or bothers Kai, that you have a method to like work it out already?
So I would say so. I think it's that we understand each other. We know like our coping mechanisms. So like I know if he's troubled by something, he likes to work it out himself. And so he kind of like what's the word? Like he just backs away from me, and I know like I shouldn't pester him at that point. Like when he's ready to talk about it, he'll come back to me and talk about it, and then he knows that if I'm troubled, like, and I'm silent, it's that he should be asking me what's wrong. And so there are like issues that arise sometimes, but now we know like how to react to each other in those situations.
How long did it take to get to that point of, because I've been in a long-term relationship and I mean maybe because I was just younger, but like even after like 3, 4, 5 years, like I think we just didn't understand we just didn't understand each other. So how long did it take, Shana?
Did you just tell me to shut up? You stop reacting?
Yeah. Shut up your reaction.
I mean, I do think, I feel like that period does shorten as you get older, because like you understand yourself also. And so you understand that like, oh, this is what I'm doing and he's probably doing the same. And so I should like understand that what we're doing is different. So I think since your relationship was a while ago and you were younger, like maybe it was harder to understand that and like know how yourself is reacting. But I don't know, I'd say like a year or so. Like that first year, there was a lot of times like, you know, there's a lot of times we get into arguments and it would like be like a whole day or two of just like being angry at each other. But now I think like we never have any arguments that big anymore.
I'm really glad that you brought that up, Sarah, because I think like what you mentioned is how guys and girls generally react to like fighting or disagreement. And so guys are just slow processors in general, and they want to take themselves away from the situation so they can process. But it sounds like Kai's even like more mature than that, because when he has finished processing, he will go back to you and talk about it. And then on your side, I think it's really common for girls to want to address it right away. They process it faster, but then they don't want to like it just to like blow up immediately, and so they'll like just go silent. And I think what you said is really helpful, because that's actually a sign that the guy should say something when that happens. So if you're listening out there, take notes. But I guess even in both situations, the important thing is that like you communicate. And so even if you like drift towards those tendencies, like being able to like talk it out and not just get mad at how the other person is reacting, like they're either running away or giving you the silent treatment, but this is just like a normal reaction. And then how do you have a healthy conversation after? Okay. Well, thanks, Sarah. We'll probably need to ask you for help when we get to that stage. So, but thanks for telling us about that. Okay, so in this episode, we're going through how important physical attraction is in a romantic relationship, and then we're gonna end it off with another what would ChatGPT do at the end. And just to kick us off, we're going to each give a rating on how important we think physical attraction is for us personally. So,
like for somebody of the opposite gender.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's say like we are interested in someone. How important is physical attraction to us in that scenario? Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna count us off. 3.
Wait, we say it all at once?
We're gonna show with our.
Oh, okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
I was like, what is Ethan doing with 2 hands?
Yeah, I'm gonna bake some.
I knew this was gonna happen because I knew
Because girls are nicer.
Okay, well,
We like personality.
That's crazy. We had the same number.
Yeah.
can you guys let us know why you guys are at a 5?
Sarah, do you want to go first? You're a guest.
Okay. I mean, I just don't think it's that big of a deal to me. I feel like physical attraction it changes when you know their personality. And it's only like one part of what you're attracted to. Like, it's not just how they look. It could be like how they style themselves, how they carry themselves, how they take care of themselves. So even if you look good, like all those other things outweigh just the physical attraction part.
I think for me, personality, like if I look down like my history of people that I've liked, like of course who doesn't appreciate a good looking guy? But I think a lot of times like it's the personality that makes me be like, wow, I really like this guy. You know, maybe he's making everyone laugh, maybe he's just super nice, maybe he's really considerate, and like, you know, whatever it is, but like that really makes somebody like shine and makes me want to pursue them. Like I know I've talked on this podcast a lot about people that I've asked out, and like it's those people, it's the people with the personality. It's never just some pretty boy that I see like walking on the street that I'll be like, oh, I want to like ask him out, I can't contain myself. No, it's always like that person with the really good personality.
Okay, but I've seen some of your exes and they're like objectively they're pretty attractive.
I hope my friends in Canada watch this episode at least, because I've been humiliated for my train of exes consistently. People have used some very descriptive words to describe some of my exes. I'm gonna say one, but maybe we should
Yeah, we can
eat it out. But like somebody called my past ex, somebody said that he looks like a literal toenail.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
And I really liked the guy too. So for her to say that, I was like, oh, okay.
Yikes.
So yeah, I'm a personality girl.
Okay.
But you're not, Ethan? 7 out of 10?
So, yeah, so I'm representing the guys out there, and this is even true for myself, and I'm trying to work on it right now. And so I would appreciate any input that you guys can give me, because I think I need to, this is a time in my life where I need to start changing my perspective. Mm-hmm. But all my life, physical attraction has been the top priority. Like I feel like if I don't find her attractive, then the feelings are just not going to come. Like, if you have a good personality, that means we can be friends. Okay. But someone that I've always imagined that someone that I'm in a relationship with, they're just going to be the whole package. Like, they're going to be like super physically attractive and then have the personality to back it up. But I think for me, and I guess for a lot of guys out there, we don't want to feel like we're settling. And it's for guys, like, guys in general are not super materialistic. It depends on the guy, but we like to show off. Okay. And so that's why, like, something like cars matters way more to guys than to girls. And I think when it comes to like having a girlfriend or having a wife, like, it's also a status symbol. It's like our job or how much money that we make. And I think subconsciously, like, that's something that's going on in my head.
Okay. I think I like how you talked about it being like a status symbol, because I do agree. I am saying I like these people with this personality, but their personalities, like, I'm not saying they're like a status symbol in terms of how they look. What I was thinking was just that even, like, you know, like when I was in high school, like that popular guy that I had a crush on, like, he's a status symbol. He has a great personality and people like him, even though he's not the most attractive, but he, you know, if you start talking to him, he is still a status symbol. So I think, at least for me, I don't know, Sarah, how you feel about this, but I agree with wanting somebody and wanting a partner who is a status symbol, but just not in a physical sense, I think.
I think my take, well, so I understand if, like, physical attraction is important to you. Like, I think you shouldn't settle on anyone just because, like, if it's important to you and you're like, oh, they have a nice personality, but, you know, I'm not really physically attracted to them, I don't think you need to settle on that. I'm sure there's someone out there who can fit your criteria. But also for guys, I think what worries me is that a lot of guys, they say physical attraction is number one, and then they only focus on, like, the girl's, like, outside appearance. Like, when they, like, put themselves together and they have, like, maybe they do makeup, and then they see them how they are, like, naturally at home, their real selves, and they're like, oh, actually, never mind. I don't want this girl anymore. And so I think that is a no-no.
Yeah, I agree. But then that's why I put it at 7.5. So even though it's, like, number one.
7.5, not 7? You had a 0.5 in there?
Yeah, I had a 0.5. Yeah.
Darn, okay.
And so that's when, like, the personality comes in, and like her manners and like the chemistry comes in. And I do think this points to how damaging, like, social media and even like general media and even porn can be, because I think for a lot of guys, and even for myself, it's created a false perception of what is attractive. And I think as I've gotten older, I've realized that physical attraction is not just based on your God-given looks, right? So Sarah, you hinted at this. As you get older, it, like, your physical attractiveness also, like, depends on how you carry yourself and your style and your hygiene. And so, but then I think, like, just media and, like, the movies that I grew up with, it told me, like, there's a certain beauty standard, and this is what girls need to look like to be attractive.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think now I have to do the work to kind of reverse that and challenge that and really ask myself, is this what really makes someone attractive?
Mm-hmm.
And am I buying too much into that?
And I want to ask, like, when you're talking about attractiveness here, like Sarah and I both said, you know, it was pretty low, it was a 5, and we care more about the personality and who is, like, actually behind the appearance, I guess. But in order for us to know that, we have to get to know the person. So are you saying the person outright needs to be, like, a 7.5 for you to even be interested in getting to know them? Or is it that they should be at least a 7.5? Like, let's say you have 2 girls and both of them have amazing personalities and one of them is a 7.5 and that's the one that you're going to ask out. Like, I guess, where does the personality go into this? Or is it just like blind reaction? Like, you're scrolling on Instagram, you're like, oh, she's a 10, let me DM her. Like, let me make her my girlfriend. Like, I guess, where in the process does it go?
I think in general, like, if a guy is making the first move, approaching a girl, she needs to meet like a certain threshold for him to approach. If you guys are just, if you met through mutual friends or
Mm-hmm.
she like initiated, it doesn't matter so much.
Okay.
And then like getting to know her first is kind of okay. But even in that case, I think for guys, we'll put you in a box. Like, even when we first meet you. And so, like, we're either physically attracted to you or
Mm-hmm.
we're not.
Okay.
And sometimes it's hard to tell. And
Does the box get confusing if you have feelings or if you like the personality, or is it still a very defined box?
I think it's very hard for guys to go from liking a personality, someone's personality, to becoming like romantically interested in them.
Wow.
Like I said, like, if a guy starts hanging out with a girl and really likes their personality,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to see that girl as like as just a friend, like good friend potential.
Mm-hmm.
But then the tricky thing is that it kind of depends on how desperate a guy is at a moment of time. So if a guy is not desperate, a girl who he's not attracted to really doesn't have much of a shot.
Okay.
In general.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not trying to like promote that. But then if a guy is desperate, let's say he's just feeling lonely, he's like going through it, just like wants someone to talk to, then like you go from wanting to like talk to a 7 to like you'll be okay talking to a 3. And I'm not trying to, or that's not a great way to put it. I don't want to like objectify people by like giving them a rating, but maybe what I mean is physical attraction becomes like a 3 of importance.
Okay.
And you're more willing to like give someone a chance who you're not that attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, even in those situations, like you're more desperate, I think those guys won't want to like make that girl their girlfriend. They're just like trying to
just hang out.
Yeah, or have like a casual relationship.
Okay. But okay, I do have one other question for you, because I think like there was somebody that I talked to in the past recently, and I don't think I was physically his type. Actually, we talked about it. I'm not his physical type. But and like there was like a lot of like on and off between us talking, and I think the reason he didn't like officially take the step and pursue it is because I wasn't physically his type. Like just, and I'm talking about serial dater because everybody's following along. And then eventually, I don't know if he was just at a low point in his life, that he was just out of a relationship, but then he finally like pursued me. He saw me out and about and he tried to pursue me. But I personally do think that, you know, where that was like, let's say a year and a half ago, whatever, when we first met and I wasn't physically his type, to now after he got to know my personality and hang out, I think his physical attraction towards me increased. Like, I think now I'm maybe more physically his type. And do you think that happens? Have you ever experienced it yourself?
Oh, that for sure happens. So,
okay, so a 3 can become a 7.5.
Yeah, and it's not even like maybe becoming, and I'm so sorry because I don't want to like get us like rating people.
Yeah.
Someone I think what happens for a lot of guys when they mature, or when it's either like yellow cab theory, where they're just more ready for a
That's fair.
relationship, or they've seen more of the world and they realize that they're a very good quality woman who they've just been like passing on.
Right. Okay.
And so I think in those situations, the girl does not become someone different. The guy just sees like a lot of your beauty like as it is, and just sees more of that.
Okay.
And processes it better. And so I think we should talk about that. Like, how can physical attractiveness change? Is it like a matter of time or stage in a relationship? Sarah, can you talk a little bit about this? Like, how important was physical attraction to you when you first started going out with Kai, and then how has it changed?
Yeah. So actually one of the things I realized from this conversation is, like I said, a lot of my dating has come out of being friends first, and that's why physical attraction is so much lower for me, because for me it's always been personality first. It's always been getting to know the person, and then I develop feelings for them. And so the same goes for Kai, is that like he's kind of just an average guy in terms of physical attractiveness, but it's that we shared interests and just like enjoying being around with him, and like just like how he shines with like when we talk about those things, that was what attracted me. And so I do think it develops from knowing them, and then like over time, like you get those like rose tinted glasses, you're like, oh, like look at all these little things that they do, and it's like it's so cute, like like these things, like they make me feel so warm, you know. He's like shining. So yeah, I think those develop, especially as you like realize those things and those rose tinted glasses come on. It just kind of grows in your mind.
Yeah. And I love what you said, like that's just your attraction to him in general. Like your appreciation and how much you value him just grew over the course of your relationship. What about physical attraction though? Did that change? Or did that just become a non-factor?
Like Ethan said, it bemes less important, from being 7.5 important to 3 important.
Right.
That's a good point. I don't think it changes. And I definitely, well, I don't know if it becomes less important, maybe, but it definitely changes, or it definitely stays the same, I think. It stays the same.
Interesting.
Okay.
I think for a guy, it increases.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I agree with Sarah. For me also, it just stays the same.
Okay. So I think for a guy, like when you get into a relationship or you're just spending a lot more time with a girl, the chance of her just becoming more physically attractive is more likely. It won't happen all the time, and I think that guy does need to be they have to be ready for a relationship and want something a little more serious, but that physical attraction will grow for a guy.
I think for me, it's like physical attraction is almost like an objective thing for me. It like stays the same, and like maybe my type will change like throughout my lifetime, but like for this one guy, it'll stay the same, and then it's like all those other things that raise my attraction level.
I think I agree with Sarah. Like, even till the end, like, I knew that the toenail was a toenail. I knew before I started talking to him. I knew after things were over. Like, I knew all along. But my attraction to him just was, like, increasing because of his personality.
Yeah.
But even when I loved his personality, I knew he was a toenail. So, yeah.
And, you know, this makes a lot more sense now, because like when I look at celebrity couples, or even when I'm like walking on the street, there are a lot of ugly guys like with like pretty girls,
Yeah.
and I used to always wonder like how that's possible, but it like explains like why Pete Davidson is like so successful, like
Yeah.
talking
No,
to
it's
girls.
true.
And then even like Emily Ratajkowski. Have you seen like the guys?
I have seen, sadly.
And I'm not trying to put down any of the guys out there.
But they just don't look like someone who's at her level of physical.
Right, like it. And I think the thing to take away from this is that guys out there, this should be giving us a lot of hope, because like a lot of guys, like we're just not that like well like equipped in terms of like our like facial features and physical build. But if you develop a good personality, if you're funny, if you are really easy to get along with, then you can probably get along with like most girls.
Oh yeah, you can. And I feel like I want to say like not just for the guys. I know we said for girls it's harder, but I also think, you know, like it's harder for guys to overlook the physical. But I also think in terms of guys and girls, I think girls have more tools that we can use to be attractive. Like I don't think it's just how you're born. You know, like there's just so many things that you can do that maybe a guy can't do. Like it's not, you know, guys can't wear makeup every single day. And so like if like my brother always complains when we were growing up, because we would both have breakouts and he'd be like, wow, this is so unfair. You can just hide yours in like makeup and go to work.
Yeah.
And I can't. Or like, I don't know, girls can do their hair. Like all those standards of beauty that you see on like online, those are because people are doing stuff. I want to say filters and this and that, but like also people are doing stuff like for girls, self-care and like self like beautification and like doing your hair and like like it's such a big part of like our lives, whereas a guy can't be like, oh, I'm gonna go to like skin spa today, and it's like, what?
Okay, but guys, you can do that.
Yes.
Okay,
We're
you
not
can wear
saying
makeup to work.
Yes.
And do your hair. But
Yeah.
it's less common, of course.
Yeah.
And okay, I do want us to like explore this a little more. What are things that we can do or people can do in general to make themselves more physically attractive? There's certain things we can't change.
Right.
And I mean, I personally am not a big fan of plastic surgery. I don't. But what are things that we think are low-hanging fruit, but then are also like helpful?
I think I'm gonna start with saying going to the gym. I feel like that's like a really big thing, or just like being active in any way. I know like the big, like, you know, I don't know about you guys, but when I was younger, I was like super not in love with the way I looked, and like it sort of grew as I got older. But I realized, yeah, sure, like maybe I was using more makeup and like I got more hair tools and stuff like that. But a big part of it was also I was getting involved in more activities that I liked, and I had that sense of like accomplishment, and then that made me want to do more. So I think taking care of your physical health is like a really easy way for you to become more physically attractive.
Yeah.
I think I want to build on that in that so like I did have a friend before, and she was on the dating apps, and there was one guy she saw, and she was saying how one of the things she didn't like about him was that he was a little bit bigger, like a little chubbier. And we're like, oh, that's not like a real fair thing to say. But she expanded on that by saying that it's also how like he was taking care of himself. Like even if you are a little bit bigger, a little bit chubbier, like it should be that you're still taking care of yourself. Like you should be aware of those facts, that you should be trying to, you know, watch your health, like what you eat. Like you should have some motivation to like at least stay active.
Yeah.
So it's not even if you're born that way, it's also like working on yourself.
Yeah. Like you're responsible to take care of your body. No one else is going to do it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, the thing I would recommend to guys out there is actually hygiene. I think hygiene goes such a long way. So keeping your nails trimmed and getting regular haircuts.
These seem like basic. as a girl.
Yeah, we don't even have to say them.
Sorry, no, I need,
No, but
I need to start
let them
from-
know.
Yeah.
No,
from
let
the
them
ground
know.
up. And so, but I bring this up because, and I'm not proud. I mean, we'll probably show it, but last week, Sonia found some old pictures of me. It's actually a video. and so Sarah has also seen it. But when Sonia saw those pictures, she was like, if this person asked me to do a podcast with him, I would say no. And I'm like, Sonia, I'm still the same person, right? Like, the personality is the same. It's still me. But for Sonia, like, you want to tell them what you...
Okay, I wasn't trying to be judgmental, but I will just say it's because I saw this person on like my computer screen and he just looked completely different than like how Ethan looks to us today.
Yeah, pop it up.
And I think I was just like, not that I was judging based on just looks. I'm sure if I talked to the other Ethan, I would have maybe agreed to do a podcast. But for me, it very much is. Even till this day, sitting here talking about this, it is other Ethan and this Ethan.
Oh, we're calling him other Ethan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because like the way Ethan just looked in that, he was just giving off different vibes than how he gives off now. Like now he's more stylish. He's like, he seems more calm, like confident in himself. Like he looks like he takes care of himself. Not that I'm sure you took care of yourself back then. It was different. There was a difference.
Yeah. So the way Sonia described me was that I looked untrustworthy. And comment down below if you agree. But hopefully, like, that picture also gives the guys out there some hope because
if you work hard, you too can look like Ethan.
It's just a different style. I think Ethan was a different style back then.
yeah, I don't know. I was completely delusional. I thought I was him for a little bit.
I'm sure you're a lot of other girls' types.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, okay. So going back to what guys can do to just improve their physical attraction in terms of grooming. So like, I think keeping your facial hair in line, and you can see that from the picture, and then even like wearing contacts or just having a skincare routine. So those are things like you don't want a girl to ever think that you're not clean. I think if you give that impression, that's gonna like be way worse than you just not being naturally attractive.
I totally agree. Like oral hygiene, I don't know, Ethan, if that's what you meant. I once dated a guy, not even went out once with, dated a guy, and his teeth were just so yellow, and like, I just never wanted to kiss him. I was just like, I would just see him smile, and I was like, and everything about him was perfect, like, but just like his teeth were so yellow. So please, like, take care of your teeth, like your tongue, like hydrate your lips. Like it's like really the little things I think that matter a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And then I'm a huge believer in your style, like being a big factor too. If you wear clothes that fit you well and you like things that accommodate your body type, but then also like an outfit that is like cohesive. So you're not like wearing dress shoes with a graphic tee, like I'm doing right now. or like something that just like is clean, that's not wrinkly. It doesn't have to be anything expensive.
Yeah, like we talked about the linen shirts before. It doesn't have to be a linen shirt, but just, I do agree also, you should have like a unique sense of style, whatever that means to you. But I 100% think, and Sarah was kind of talking about this earlier, you know, when you first see a girl on Instagram or on like a first date and she's all like dolled up or he looks perfect and he's wearing his best shoes, but then like later on you are going to see them at home in their sweats and in their whatever. But even then I think you should, just for yourself, just be a little bit put together, and like what you wear is a big part of that.
Yeah. And like just to wrap it up for guys, I think two things that can really make a big difference in terms of your style is wearing a watch. I think that just like gives off the feeling that you're a little more put together. You have appreciation for like things that are traditional and like have always been valued. And then also I think having some kind of chain, it doesn't need to be a big chain, but maybe just like
I agree with the
small
chain.
That and this is not a chain that you should like just wear like a wrapper, like where it's just like in your face, but like even just something that you like tuck into your shirt, and then like sometimes it's visible.
I completely agree with Ethan on this one.
So those are just like simple things that don't have to be too expensive that you can do to like really just take it to the next level.
Yeah, I think it's similar for girls. Yeah, like jewelry. Like wearing jewelry, like, you know, and Ethan already talked about personal grooming, so like keeping your nails like clean all the time, like accessories, like, and like also I think also just taking care of the things you have, like, you know, if your pants are getting worn out, like maybe don't wear them out anymore. Maybe it's time to like throw those out. Or if your sneakers are like so destroyed, like your Air Force Ones are like crumpled up and dirty, maybe just take a couple of minutes on the weekend, like clean them up before you wear them. Just like little things, like presentation, like focus a little bit on presentation.
I'm from New York. You should toss those Air Force Ones. You just need a clean pair. Like, I have to say that as a New York. I'm sorry.
I guess I wanna build on that, and like as someone who's never been super into fashion like my whole life.
What?
You have good style.
You have very good style.
It's something I'm building on now. Like after school, now that I'm not stressed 24/7. Now I think about fashion, and so I'm really late to the game, and I'm building on that.
How did you like get started? Like, how did you know like where to draw inspiration from? As someone who got started later.
I think like looking online and then seeing like styles that I liked, and then just like following certain tags, and then like building off of that, and just like, and then like going to certain brands that I like. That's how I've been building it. But yeah, as someone who hasn't been super into fashion, it's like not something I particularly like look for in a guy, but it's like just the basics of like putting yourself together and being aware of what you're wearing is like, I think, the baseline for me even. So like not just wearing t-shirts and sweats everywhere, like even to work, or like if your partner or your date is wearing something a little more fancier, like you should be aware, like, oh, I should wear something on the same level. So that's like the baseline for me, to just at least be aware of what you're wearing.
If you guys need like fashion advice ever, Sarah's a great person to hit up. Sonia too. So
Ethan as well. He's trying to be modest right now.
But you can definitely do that, and I think we would all be happy to help. One more thing I want to say is colors are really important too. So if you like just wear like a lot of bright colors and they clash, that's horrible. Like, don't do that. I think a safe bet is always wearing tonal colors, and so those are colors that are like earthy and more natural that you can find when you're like outside, and then they're usually a little darker.
I'm feeling attacked by Ethan's every word right now.
No, I'm talking for guys.
I think
like baby steps first.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can start with what Ethan is saying, but don't be afraid after you've developed your sense of style to, like, you should have like a little niche, you know? Like, I think Ethan dresses differently than like Sarah, than me. Like, we all have our own different unique styles. We all still follow like the basic principles, which Ethan is trying to outline, you know, like earthy tones and like, you know, a lot of blacks and whites and blues, like, but then you feel free to play around also.
Yeah, that's true. One of my favorite outfits in general is one of Adam Levine's outfits on The Voice. And I remember seeing it, I think I was in high school, but it's just like a simple black top and like orange pants. And I always wanted to like have enough confidence to like wear an outfit like that. And so that's not like a tonal color. So you're right, Sonia. Like you can build up to it. but it's important not to like have those things clash.
Yeah.
Like you can have a loud piece, but then balance it with something that's more simple and plain.
My pants are very simple.
I'm not gonna look. Okay.
Okay.
So the other reason why we brought you here, Sarah, is because last time when we were talking about this topic, I always bring up a situation where I was hesitant to like see where things went with a girl because I didn't feel like a lot of sparks right off the bat and even physical attraction. And you guys were kind of giving some input, and Sarah, one thing that you said really stood out to me. You said that if I'm not physically attracted to them, maybe I'm like setting up the relationship like for failure, because maybe she will always be questioning like why I'm with her, and then let's say like we do get into an argument, like that might cause her to become like insecure and really question like if she should be in this relationship because maybe she's not my type. And so I was wondering if you could talk a little more about that and how much we should weigh physical attraction thinking about a circumstance like that.
I think that's why I wanted to clarify that if physical attraction is important to you, I don't think you should settle. So like for Sonia and I, it's not a big deal, so therefore like that we can pursue those kind of relationships.
Right.
But if it's something that's always going to be nagging at you, then I don't think you should go further with that. Because so what I was telling Ethan and Sonia before was that if I knew, even like later down the line we're in a committed relationship and we're kind of stable, I think there's always that nagging feeling in my brain that if one day my partner stumbles upon someone who is more physically attractive and as nice as me, then why wouldn't they turn to that other person? So I feel very easily disposable in that case. And so that's where the insecurity comes from.
But I want to be in those relationships too. Like I don't want to like be stuck in a place where I'm prioritizing physical attraction. I want to be in a relationship where that the attraction just overall grows and I'm with you because of your personality. And the reason why I want that is because I'm aware that physical attraction is going to fade over time, objectively. And I want to be with someone that I can really build something with, that this sounds so cliche, but like that we can help each other grow, but that we can also like benefit the community around us by like opening up our home and being a source of wisdom for single people and things like that. So how much does physical attraction help in those cases? Like almost zero. So I'm trying to like not buy into it anymore.
I think I'm gonna say, because I do have like a lot of like, I don't want to say toxic men in my family, but like I have a lot of like male figures in my family that have been very focused on physical attractiveness of the girl in front of them, like whether those are like my uncles or my older cousins and stuff like that. And I kind of agree with Sarah and disagree with you, Ethan, that if it is something that you know is important to you, then you should go out there and get it. Because when everything, when the whole world is against you and you're fighting with your partner, you're gonna have that resentful feeling. You're gonna, like, you yourself are gonna automatically be like, oh, I never even liked her to begin. I never thought she was attractive to begin with. I know, because like I've never said it to somebody, but like in like one of my past relationships where I knew somebody was, I don't want to say like they were just not somebody who physically you would see me with. And whenever I would get mad, my friends around me would be like, oh, he's like, you're so out of his league, like it doesn't matter. Like, remember, you had to settle to be with him. And like they would say those things to try to like cheer me up, but it's like those comments don't go away. Whether your friends are saying them or they're in the back of your mind, I think it's really, I don't want to say honorable and like gas you up, but it's good that you're saying, you know, you don't want to focus on physical attractiveness. But like for the case of serial dater who also cared about physical attractiveness, but then he sort of like deviated from that, there has to be like, it's good that you're making a mental conscious effort about it, but I think there has to be something from within that still makes you want to pursue the girl. You know, like maybe you're 10 out of 10, your type is Scarlett Johansson, but then let's say you see somebody on the street that has like, I don't know, blonde hair instead of red hair, but you still, something inside of you clicks and makes you want to go for her. So you still have to like, although yeah, maybe you're not getting your Scarlett Johansson, but something still clicks and makes you want to take those steps and makes you want to pursue something with that girl. So I think the girl that you were asking Sarah and I about, if you're kind of having to like convince yourself or like talk to yourself to like her, like you're not, you know, like you said, when the desperation increases, you're more ready to set. And Serial Dater did it, and like sometimes I'm like, oh, like maybe I'm not his type, blah blah blah, but he's in it so deep that I'm just like, oh, like I know he likes me physically as well. But like something in your life has to make you want to, I don't want to say settle, but for you to want to forgo your physical type. You can't like think about it and convince yourself. Like it has to come from within.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying is that that thing that draws you to them doesn't have to be physical, right? It could be like their values or their personality or the way that they handle themselves around other people and are generous. The thing I do want to push back on, like, is that, like you mentioned how physical attraction, like if it's important to you and you don't buy into it, you might resent them later on.
Yeah.
But then the opposite is true, where you get someone, or you end up in a relationship with someone that you're super physically attracted to, and then one day, like, you wake up and they're not as beautiful as they were when you first met them.
True.
And they have a sucky personality, and you're like, why did I do this to myself? Like, this person is not a good parent to our kids. This person is not financially responsible. This person gets in fights with their family, and then the kids are watching. Right. So, and this person, like, goes to the grocery store and comes back with 2 handbags. So...
What grocery store sells handbags?
That's exactly what I'm saying. They didn't go to the grocery store. And so, like, I think that you shouldn't put too much weight into the physical attraction. I stand by the fact that one day they won't be so beautiful. True. And what is actually gonna make a relationship happy? Like, when you guys are aligned with how you want to raise your kids and how you guys, like, your goals for your life.
I completely agree, but pulling an Ethan over here.
Okay, and Sarah's gonna break this tie after you.
Yes. Okay. So all I'm gonna say is, I think for all of us, even Sarah and I, who don't pay that much like importance into physical attraction, I think when we're all kids, like, we have like or even as we grow up, we have like an idea, like, oh, this is the kind of person I want to be with. Maybe it's somebody's interest, maybe it's how they physically look, whatever, but it's like those surface level things that have nothing to do really with their personality. Like, let's say I really want to be with like a doctor. It has nothing to do with their personality that they're a doctor, right? And it just, you feel a sense of accomplishment that you've achieved that. And I think that's the same feeling that a lot of guys get, because, yeah, having like a really pretty wife is a status symbol. And although, yes, you can forgo it, and like later in your life, she's not going to look that way. And maybe the wife who started off being uglier looks way better because you give her good space to like grow and make herself better. All that is great. But I think from the people that I've seen, like, I think you would still feel like a sense of accomplishment and like success for the time that she is pretty. And in terms of like bad personality, the ugly girl could have a bad personality too. I've dated a train of people And let me tell you, your looks have nothing to do with your personality. Really good-looking people could have amazing personalities, and really people that are not my type could have really bad personalities. Or vice versa. Like, you don't know, right? So the personality is, like, I would say, is like the next step. But like the physical attractiveness that we're talking about, that's kind of like the first step that makes you enter into this thing. And I don't think that it's okay to be like, oh, I don't care about physical attractiveness right off the bat. Or in Sarah's and I case, like, you know, those character traits or those initial blind reaction, like, things about that person. Oh, I don't care about them because, like, later on it's going to be gone anyways. Like, oh, later on he's going to retire. It doesn't matter if he's a doctor right now. Like, no, I would still like to say that I was a doctor's wife. Like, that still sounds kind of fun. You know what I mean? All right, Sarah.
I think there's no, like, convincing anyone here. Like, even if we talk about how important personality is or how important physical attraction is, like, whoever's listening out there, I'm sure you already have your own opinions, and I don't think we're going to change that. Mm-hmm. And so I think everyone just needs to have their own, like, woke moment when they're like, if physical attraction is 100% of what you care about, and one day you have that woke moment that actually I want someone who can take care of me, and, like, I'm willing to take care of them. You won't understand until you come to that realization yourself. And some people are going to be totally content with a trophy wife or a trophy husband that has a sucky personality. But they're okay with that. They'll feel happy looking at their beautiful partner, and they'll feel happiness in their life. But so I don't think there's any convincing. I don't think it's that important. But I don't think, like, if you're looking for a long-term relationship, you really need to think about, like, what is important to you and what you think you'll want in, like, 20, 30 years from your partner, and don't settle for that right now. And, like, even if someone's lacking in one of those things, you have to think about if that person is willing to work on that with you. And, like, you also have to be doing the same for them. Like, so when you get into a long-term relationship, it comes back to the communication and, like, willing to learn and change for your partner, but also not settling.
Very well said.
Yeah. Do you have anything else? Otherwise, I think that's a great
way to end it. Yeah.
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, so thank you so much, Sarah. That was amazing. We're gonna wrap it up with our segment, What Would ChatGPT Do? And so today we've asked ChatGPT, how can I improve my physical attractiveness? And so we've talked a little bit about this, like what are things that we would recommend. Let's see what ChatGPT says. A lot of the things that ChatGPT says is similar to what we brought up, but what we're gonna do, because this is a long list, we're going to pick what are the 3 most important things for us. Oh my gosh, there's 7 sections. Okay, so the first section is personal hygiene. The second one is grooming. The third one is fitness and health, fashion and style, mental and emotional well-being, and professional help. And so...
What's professional help?
It says dental work, dermatologist, personal trainer, stylist.
Huh. So you could throw plastic surgeon on there.
Yeah.
So out of these, like, I don't know, 30 different qualities, because each one of these labels has, like, sub-labels, we're going to pick our top 3. And we're going to see if we agree with each of these things. So I have my top 3. Are you guys ready?
Like top 3 of, like, the big headings?
No.
Or of the bullet points?
Yeah, the bullet
Okay.
points.
Bullet points.
Yeah, the bullet points. Okay. Well, I'll go first. Or actually, let's do like one of our three, and then we'll
Okay.
like go down and around.
Okay.
Do you want to start us off, Sonia?
Sure. I think I saw confidence on the list,
Mm.
and I think that is a personality trait that I've historically been very attracted to.
Okay. For me, I'm gonna start off with skincare. So, and I bring this up because my mom, like, one of the reasons why she likes my dad was because he had nice skin. But he always took care of his skin, and so like compared to other guys, like that was a big factor for my mom, and I agree.
Okay.
So if you need, I think it's episode 16, where Sonia and I we recommend our favorite skincare products.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I think it's 15 or 16.
I need to listen to that.
Hmm.
Okay, mine, because it's on here, but it's like the absolute basic is regular showers.
You picked that as a top 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you're not regularly showering, that's it. That's like, that's a big no from
You're
me.
out.
Yeah, it's a baseline for me. So I have to say that.
But can you tell? Like, is it like their hair is oily and then they like smell a little funny?
I think it's definitely like smell.
Okay.
And then like if I get to know you enough where I know your daily routine, like if you're texting, and there's like at no point can I tell that you've taken a shower, I'm gonna be super sus and like question your life.
Aw.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, you get to go again. We're gonna go like snake.
Okay. I think hair care
Mm.
is important to me, and facial hair is a separate bullet point on ChatGPT's list, but I think to me it's kind of all together.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not a big facial hair person, so like I don't really think about it, but if you do have facial hair, if you don't like take care of your beard and it's like all gross and it's gonna give me acne if I touch it, that's a big no for me. So it's really important like to take care of your hair.
Mm-hmm.
And like I mean, as a girl, of course, hair is really important to me.
Yeah.
And then but I'd be willing to teach that to my partner also if you're willing to learn. So that's pretty important to me.
Yeah. So hair is also that's what I wanted to bring up too.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I'll point out that you haven't mentioned is I think for guys it's really important to take care of your hair regularly, and so that means like getting haircuts. And so like I've seen a lot of guys that would just let the sides grow out, and dude, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're like working from the negatives if you're not. It's really bad. And I know a lot of guys like they're trying to grow out their hair, they want to have longer hair, and there's always that awkward period. But during those times, like you can do like maintenance haircuts where you're not just like making the sides really short, you're just like cleaning it up so it doesn't grow out badly. I think you should consider that. Or just wearing like hats and beanies just to keep things tidy, and so it doesn't just, it's not in your face. And it's not just like for other people looking at you. Like if you have a lot of hair and you're not like maintaining it and it's like getting longer, you're gonna be more sweaty. And
Are you telling us from experience?
yeah. Yeah, pull out that picture again.
This was not planned, but mine was also hair and facial hair care.
Okay.
I think, but a little bit different than your guys's. Mine's about hairstyle. Like you really have to pick a style that suits you. I had a friend during my master's. He used to part his hair to the right, and then he had like an injury, so he started parting his hair to the left. He used to not have facial hair, and then he grew like a little bit of a stubble. Changed man. Like literally, his physical attractiveness like shot up. So I think like your hair and your beard, like how you should really pick it for your face shape and for your like to send the right vibes and just try to look your best. Okay, use it as like an accessory.
Objectively, though, most people recommend that guys part their hair on the left and then comb it right.
I don't know what it was about this guy. I think because he was always so neatly combed over.
Okay. Oh, I know which guy you're talking about, actually.
But then he started going the other way and he got stubble, and I was like, whoa, you look like a completely different person now, in a positive way. And I wasn't the only one who thought this. Many girls thought this.
He got rid of his baby face.
Yeah. And then my third and final thing would be dental care. I think teeth are so important. I think your breath is so important. I think oral hygiene, like your teeth don't need to be like professionally whitened, and like it's okay if they're not like, you didn't have braces and they're perfectly straight, but I think just like a clean, like it's like the tiniest little thing, and it's not something that other people will notice like if they're looking at you from far away, but it just shows like how much do you care about yourself, which is really like if you care about yourself a lot, that's something that's really attractive also.
Okay, for me, this is not to sound superficial, but I'm going back to clothing, and so this ties back to what we talked about earlier, having clothes that fit, clothes that kind of match your personality and also like matches colors kind of, and then having like some kind of accessories to just make it pop a little more and just show that you have put some thought into what you're wearing. I think that goes a long way, and anyone can do it, and that's why I'm putting this in my top 3. And you don't need to spend a lot of money.
I was actually gonna say clothing also.
Nice.
Similarly to Ethan, in that it's kind of like, I already said it earlier, like it's kind of a baseline for me, because like it doesn't have to be fashionable or like anything extravagant. It's just being aware of what you're wearing, right? Like if you're looking to improve your attractiveness, like you should be working on trying to find your style. You should be trying to invest a little more in improving your wardrobe, like even if that's just like a nicer shirt or a new shirt, or like just shoes that aren't falling apart. So I think that's pretty important.
Cool. Well, we're gonna wrap it up there. Sarah, thank you so much for joining, and
thank you for having me.
What was this like to like be a big fan of this podcast? Like you are one of our like biggest supporters and a consistent listener. What is it like for you to like go from that to like, okay, like now you're here?
It's surreal. I can't believe like I'm with the people themselves, Ethan and Sonia, on the podcast. It's like a dream.
You see it every day. You see us every day. Pretty much.
But to be like here behind the mics, and then with you guys, and then later on when I get to listen to the podcast and I'll be there, it's gonna be so surreal. Yeah. So I really appreciate you guys having me on here.
Thank you for coming on.
You have great insights. Yeah, it was so nice for us to have you on.
Yeah, how did we not have you on sooner? Like, I don't know. We're kind of wrong for that. Okay, thank you so much, Sarah. And like always, we'll catch you guys next time.